In retrospect, they probably should have cut this one in half. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dark, and I know they did a couple sessions of tapings at Universal Studios, gained a bunch of stuff in the can for the next few weeks, which is honestly a smart move. But I've been enjoying recent editions of Dark Elevation and Dark, with runtimes each of just under an hour, showcasing some talents that don't always get on Dynamite or Rampage, and enhancement talents, or aka indie talents, that come in and get to show off their skills and everything, be on a bigger stage than normal. It's a win-win. It's a winning formula. And I wouldn't have minded a longer Dark, except for the fact that we already had Dark Elevation. We have a special pay-per-view worthy edition of Dynamite and a special 2-hour edition of Rampage, and honestly, it's going to be a little bit too much. So while there was some good stuff, this was a bit too long. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So Wardlow cuts a quick promo reminding us all this is Wardlow's world, and Taz and Excalibur are on commentary. Wardlow takes on JDX, which sounds like a PS2 game. And Taz takes a shot at Brian Cage, says, I should have had Wardlow in Team Taz instead of Brian Cage. Not the only shot that's taken at Brian Cage, so I think Brian Cage is on his way out of AEW. He's going to dumb himself right out of position, as Ernie Ladd would say. Terrible Ernie Ladd impression. I apologize. JDX did get some punches and kicks. They were not all in his mind because his mind got kicked out of his goddamn skull when he got the casualty of war after like 5 powerbombs. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Otherwise, it would be weird if I didn't count to 5. 3 weren't enough. He needed 5. And then, yeah, the casualty of war, the big knee in the corner, and he wasn't even staring up at the spotlights. He probably just saw lights, and JDX was knocked out. Big Swole took on Allie Katch. I've heard of Allie Katch. I can't recall seeing any matches with her, but I have heard the name. Katch does have a good look. Swole is very over and sort of hits the Dirty Dancing discus elbow 1, 2, 3. Wasn't bad, wasn't great, but it was there. And then we get Santana and Ortiz versus Chaos Project. Serpentico and Luther, who really doesn't belong in the ring and screams too goddamn much. And in a small studio, it really echoes. The Three Amigos, the Eddie chants, that was nice. This went a little bit too long. Serpentico, I mean, I understand why they put him in a team, because otherwise he'd probably just get bounced around, but I don't know, this shtick with Luther's kind of gotten old to me. Actually, it really wasn't all that great to begin with. There are some people that like it, and that's fine. We get some weird insight. It's like a weird toss, double toss, 1, 2, 3, and Santana and Ortiz win. And then Janela with Kayla Rossi, who, by the way, is infinitely, better, has way more upside than Janela could ever hope to have, took on Dylan McQueen. Oh, Dylan McQueen. I can't even do the Queen reference, right? So, at one point, Kayla attacks Dylan outside DVD 1, 2, 3. I hope Dylan gets a better opponent. Let's move on. Kayla, however, does have a good look. So Ty Conte with Anna Jay and Brody's Kid taking on Marina Tucker. So showcase for Ty. Marina, well, she did some stuff. She tried. I'm not really that familiar with her. Ty KO, DD Ty 1, 2, 3. And then Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson with Dustin Rhodes took on Luke Curtis and Cameron Stewart. Cameron Stewart, I believe, was also on the NXT show tonight, so that guy was getting... Either that or somebody stole his tights, because it looked like the same guy, just with a little bit different hair. So I did notice that Stewart has very shiny tights, and that Brock is a long way from being ready to be on camera. He has the Anderson genes, but he needs some time. I mean, sure, that's what training's for, but even in the studio setting, was what it was. I have no idea why Curtis was dressed like a Tony Hawk, creative character, but he wasn't all that bad. And Frog Splash by Lee 1, 2, 3. And then FTR took on Stallion, Roger, and Anthony Green. Former Curtis Stallion and former Austin Gray from NXT, recent releases. Good to see them getting some work. FTR, always good to see them. This match went on a bit longer than I thought, but that being said, it was nice that they gave them some stuff. They showcased what they could do, and FTR got the win after it was like some kind of inside-out plex 1, 2, 3. But also at one point just before that, like, Stallion just did this freaking dive where he just smashed a laying down Dax Harwood. That looked kind of painful. But FTR get the victory. This is where I think they could have cut it off, and they could have just had they could have just done next week, where they just had that, or flipped the stuff around, everything to fit it for Wrestle Grand Slam. It just seemed like, again, it was a bit too long, since this is making nearly 7 hours that they're going to have of programming. So the Bunny took on Zatina K. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce her name. Well, Kay did do some good stuff. She's got some good agility. The Bunny, for as long as she's been wrestling, it's not that good. Down the rabbit hole, 1, 2, 3. And then we get Archer versus Marcus Cross, the guy with, Super Saiyan hair, and even though Archer kept saying, hit me, he eventually hit the chokeslam in the blackout. 1, 2, 3. And then we get Ryan Nemeth and Peter Avalon with the rest of the wingmen taking on Silver and Reynolds with 10, 5, and Brody's Kid. All right, cool, great. We're back to all this stuff with the Dark Order and the infighting and everything, and this is a lot of Dark Order stuff. I mean, hey, you might as well get the guys some ring time. I'm not a big fan of the gimmick, but some people are. There, at one point, like near the end, Silver and Reynolds hit about a bunch of forearms and strikes and everything on Avalon, and then a jackknife cover 1, 2, 3. Let's move on to Daniel Garcia with 2.0 versus 5 of the Dark Order. This was a well-worked match. 5 is good. Daniel Garcia, for his age, is very good. I think they're both 23. There was a dive off the stage onto everybody by 5. There was some other good stuff. There was a catch Spanish Fly. Very well done by 5. Interference and then a Scorpion Wrench. I don't know what Daniel Garcia calls that. Did he call it Red Death? I know he's got Red Death on his tights. That's impressive. The Scorpion lean back, some good stuff. He tried that on Sting. Sting wouldn't walk because Sting can barely walk now. But well-worked match. And then we get QT, Camarado, and Solo versus Sean Maluda, Darian Benston, and Cole Carter. This is nothing against the enhancement guys. Actually, I think Sean Maluda should get more looks because I've been impressed with some of the stuff he's done every time I've seen him on television. Camarado also has a good look. I don't give a shit about QT. He hits the cutter 1, 2, 3. I don't care about this factory stuff. And we get Colt Boom Boom Cabana versus JD Drake. JD Drake was dressed like a farmer that was going golfing. And I like JD Drake. I actually have been impressed since the first time I saw him. The gear choices are a bit odd. The guy can work. For a big guy, he really can work, has some very good agility. Hits a nice moonsault when he hits it. Even when he doesn't, it is a beautiful moonsault. And then he can, do some good other stuff, as far as agility and everything. Again, the gear is a weird choice. But the potential is there, and he does have ability. Colt, obviously, world travel, 20-plus year career. There was some interference, and then moonsault by Colt, 1, 2, 3. All right. Eddie Kingston taking on Bear Bronson. Big, meaty men slapping together and everything. And I'm worried that Kingston doesn't have a lot of ring time left, and I know he's been working for a while, but he took a couple bumps where we're like, oh. He's good at selling, but I'm just a little bit worried he's not going to have a lot left. Slugfest, or the machine gun chops in the corner, and then tossed by Bear in a dive, where, that was pretty impressive for a big guy to do that. We get Saito trades and some more strikes and everything. 2 spinning back fists, 1, 2, 3. And then Eddie cuts a promo thanking the fans, saying that, hey, Suzuki-gun, we're #1 in New York. Here's Archer, they brawl and everything, and that's the end of the show. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm going to be doing these Dark reviews, Dark Elevation and Dark, depending on whether they're 45 minutes or an hour plus or nearly 2 hours like this. Run through some of these matches. I will say that there was some good stuff, but again, it was still a little bit too long, so there's a concise review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.